Eccoci qua. Hello, Ulrich. Thanks for being with us tonight. And sorry to keep you waiting, but we always have these clouds show with Damiano, which is our meteo man, and he's explaining step by step all the clouds that we see in the sky. Right.
Buonasera a tutti.
Okay, grazie. So, how is your Italian, Ulrich? You speak also a little bit of Italian?
Poco.
Poco. Okay. We go from that.
Cornetto, spremuta.
Well, if you know this, it's okay.
I get along.
Yeah,
for sure.
right. Ok, so first of all, thanks for being with us tonight. Grazie per essere con noi, Ulrich. Ulrich è il fondatore, il vero cuore della Red Bull X-Alps, che tutti conosciamo, che tutti amiamo, e adesso c'è questa novità, questa Red Bull X-Alps Challenger. So, Red Bull X-Alps, it's always been the race for very top pilots, really exclusive. So how this idea came out to go for a challenger, for a race for, let's say, lower level pilots?
Well, I think, when the late Hannes Arch and me, we saw that Red Bull X-Alps is a project and an event that has been growing over the first, let's say, decade, the first 10 years, quite a bit. And the race only being every 2 years, we eventually thought hey, maybe there is an interest, there's an opportunity out there that we create also a race in between. And we always had different thoughts of how we can do it, but also to make sure that the sport of hike and fly is potentially not only happening in the Alps, but that we can inspire people in other countries as well. And inspiring people from other countries as well means we need to give them maybe an offering as well, something that is easier to get in versus the main race, which we all know is on a top level. So an event that is something where you can actually get a feel for it and learn and get prepared for it. So this was the main idea. Eventually, we called it the Red Bull X-Alps Challenger. And this is what we have the first time in 2 weeks from now.
Right. Yes. Yeah, we remember that the dates, we can remind they are from the 28th to the 30th of May in Mayrhofen. So very close now. Right. So how many pilots do you have already in the list?
We have around 150 pilots and athletes. So that's actually quite nice. We had more applications, but we also have been looking of who are the ones who can really do it safely as well. But it's also a bit of a test for new athletes who are interested in Red Bull X-Alps.
Right. Yeah, because we have to say that this time, for the first time, the winner of this challenger, male and female, 1-on-1, will be automatically, let's say, in for the next race, for the main race next year. So how is the idea behind this choice?
As you may have looked at the challenge itself, we have a 3-day race. So what we're doing is we're testing specific abilities of the athletes. So first of all, one thing is it's a mountain run on the first day. Yeah. The mountain run helps us to define how good in the physical shape you are. Being in a very good physical shape is a very key element for performing safely in the race, because if you're too exhausted from the running up the mountain and your body is really drained, your brain doesn't function either as well. So that would potentially lead to false decision when you fly. So this is why on the first day we're testing the physical endurance capabilities. So that's a very important thing. On the second day, it's like you run up 450 meters, you fly down. We're testing a little bit on the capabilities, how you are acting under stress, landing, glider handling capabilities, backing up. So how do people act under this kind of like pressure? And then 30 is kind of like a prologue race, as we know from the main race. And this is where we are really going for the overall hike and fly skill set, to really see how the athletes are doing. And when you remember the prologue, for example, from the past years, the athletes who really performed really well, usually it was always the athletes who performed really well in the main race.
Right.
So there's a direct correlation to that as well. So having those 3 days gives us a very good feel and estimate for understanding who are the best up and coming new athletes.
Right. Do you see a big difference between, the athletes that are coming up and the very well experienced athletes that are already in the main race? Or do you believe also this new challenger will be at the same top level?
I think it will be the athletes will go for it, quite a bit. It's not going to be like a walk in the park. I don't think so. But it is obviously like you have like a mountain run. It's not like 24/7. So they can afterwards relax, think about it. We have workshops, with Kriegel, with Celine, with Simon Oberrauner. So there's a lot to learn as well on the side. So it's a little bit of a test and also like a preparation for the main race, so that the athletes really understand better what it's all about. Because as we all know, we only have 35 spots for the main race, but we also want to give opportunity for others to get a little bit of a feel for it, what it is about. And I think the challenge is a wonderful opportunity for athletes to experience that.
Right. Ulrich, let me ask you a question which has nothing to do with the challenger. We have all seen the past edition of the Red Bull X-Alps, and also most of us from Italy, we have also this very big happiness at the end with Aaron, which was carrying the Italian flag on the podium, and was really fantastic for us. From your point of view, I mean, for sure there are so many key points and important points, but which is the one that you really remember well, and it is something you will never forget?
I mean, you mentioned already one of the elements that I will definitely never forget is like being glued to the live tracking at the last day, when Aaron took the north route, north of Innsbruck. The other athletes going south, and then seeing Aaron going ahead and leading, and I was like, wow, this looks really, really great. And then all of a sudden he gets stuck, and then like all the three other athletes coming up from behind, and they're just like eventually just one reach behind, and you go like, oh no, like all the lead he had, it's all be gone maybe for a second. So this was like a heartbeat finish that I would have never dreamed about, that we have four athletes coming in so close together, that it's really like, it's like something we've never seen before. And something that also gives a new kind of like dimension to the race, that there's so many top athletes now competing on such a high level. And that's been definitely one of like at least from the past race, that moment that, was absolutely amazing. It was so exciting to watch, and And great for Aaron, and great for Italy as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, what we really don't understand, it's something out of reach. It's after so many days of race with so many different conditions and so on, to see pilots so close. Really, it means the level it's so high. It's
yes,
unbelievable.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yes. Talking about now the let's say, we know that the Red Bull X-Alp has all the live, and it's possible to follow very well and so on. Now the Red Bull Challenger, how is it going to be seen? You have more or less the same system. You can see pilots going up and down the hills, or it's something different.
So this, like the Challenger is a little bit different because obviously, like the racing will be very short. So we don't have like the kind of like live tracking that you have like from the last time as well. We're also working a lot on improving the live tracking for 2027 because there were some, like as we all know, some hiccups there. So we're fixing that. So for the Challenger, we don't look for like a live tracking because the time periods are too short.
Right.
The mountain run is an hour and a half, max. So it's very tight. The second day is like it's probably going to be like a 2-hour race or something like that, and it's everything very compact. So like very let's say confusing maybe for live tracking, and then
Right.
maybe the third day for the kind of like like hike and fly race, but everything is very compact in one space as well. And everything will be very fast. So in this case, we're focusing on the content creation, on the content development, on the social media. So that will be the main focus during the Challenger.
Right.
And all the channels that we had from last time as well, that we are managing those, so all of them will be up and running. But we're not really focusing on the live tracking this
Right.
time because like the race is too short.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah, we can understand.
that's the main reason.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. And one last question, Ulrich. We
Yep.
took a lot of your time. Thanks really for being with us. Are you going to improve a little bit the female participation? Do you have many females in Challenger? And also maybe are you looking for hire some more for the main race?
So we would love to have more women in the race. And I think the challenge is an opportunity for the women to participate. And again, also like to get a little bit of a feel, and maybe by nature, the women are more cautious. We know like the guys are sometimes a little bit, with the head through the wall. So I think the girls are, more cautious, and maybe then there's like a little bit more being more cautious and seeing how intense the Red Bull X-Alps race can be, that they step back from it. So what we want to do with the Challenger, bring an opportunity also like with the women's category, and it's an opportunity for them to get into the race a little bit, learn about it, lose a little bit the distance from the race as well, and get acquainted and get familiar with it a little bit more. Right. So that eventually, hopefully, like more women will participate, and because there's not really any reasons why the women should do like worse than the men. There's no reason, and the only reason is that potentially, but I'm not an expert, that they maybe are more cautious. But that's good in the race as well, anyways, because we rather have like, cautious athletes versus athletes who are doing some things which are does not make sense.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Talking about the main race, X-Alps, it's let's say brand, and it is Alps. So I believe, I don't know if you're thinking about doing something different, but I believe the Alps are the let's say, the natural playground. But talking about the challenger, is it possible maybe to see a challenger somewhere else in the world in the next future?
That's a good question. I think one of the tasks and one of the things that was very important for us with Red Bull X-Alps anyways, that we a little bit democratize hike and fly, that we make it more open for others to join. This is why we have the challenger. And I wish in the future that we have challenger races, maybe like, in the American continent, North America, or like in Asia somewhere, so that we can excite more people, on hike and fly. And I think that is and should be one of the tasks of Red Bull X-Alps, to make sure we spearhead hike and fly globally and be a welcoming event for athletes from all sorts of nations. Because otherwise, it's only going to be a race between the Italians, the Swiss, the French, some of the Austrians, and sort of like the Germans, and that's it, And like, we have to be open, because we have to create a love for hike and fly worldwide.
Right, absolutely. You know that this is just something that probably you still didn't hear about, because it's very new. We are with the FIVL, the Italian Federation of Free Flight, creating, and this was really my little baby, because I worked a lot on it. We are creating an event called FIVL I Can Fly Hero, which is starting the 1st of June, ending the 15th of November. And it's like a contest, like the X contest, but studied for I Can Fly. So we have special rules, and this, we hope, will also give more, let's say, visibility to this fantastic sport, which is I Can Fly.
Yeah. And that's amazing. I think like the more events we have, we create like, more talent and more excitement and more passion, for hike and fly. And eventually this must be our common cause of all of us, to embrace, new people, people who are interested. And this is what we work for. We should not be only an event for, let's say, like the elite. And yes, the Red Bull X-Alps is like the top event, and it's for the top athletes, but opening it up a little bit in a way of helping people to understand what Red Bull X-Alps is about. We don't want to be a competition with a challenger to the other races. We love all of the other races, and they're fantastic. So it's really a little bit about with the challenger, to understand what the needs for like a Red Bull X-Alps actually are, like the endurance, because it's also like a big adventure race. Let's not forget that it's not only like a paragliding race, it's a big adventure race.
Yeah.
So there's specific skill set that we look for. And this is what the athletes and the participants can experience, in a challenger.
Right. Well, Ulrich, we can't wait to see the race now.
Yeah, me neither. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. So thanks a lot for being with us tonight and explaining us a little bit more about this new Red Bull X-Alps event. And well, we look forward to see the race, and maybe after it is going to be finished, we will have another talk to see how it's gone, and which are the results and which are the winners and the participants and so on.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to, to jump like on a format like this. And thank you, Rinaldo, for all of your support as well, and the whole FIVL. So it's great to have you guys alongside, and we're very thankful for that. So grazie.
Okay. Grazie mille. Ricordiamo che adesso tradurremo questa intervista Non l'ho fatto la traduzione simultanea perché diventava lunghissima, ma la tradurremo anche in italiano, poi faremo questo lavoro nei prossimi giorni e la metteremo online. So we are going to translate also in Italian in the next few days and then represent it also for the pilots which are not understanding English. Okay, so thanks very much, Ulrich. All the best for the Red Bull X-Alps Challenger in Mayrhofen from 28th to 30th of May. And thanks again. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.